the Crossroads of the West program call. I'm Brett Sutherland. We have with us tonight Josh Hackey, the Director of Support Services, Poulani Graham, who's our Council Advancement Chair. Mike Perkins is our Council Training Chair. Joe Boulay will not be with us. He's our Activities and Service Chair, but we do have with us Lorna Kosai, who's over Scouting for Food, and I'm sure that there's a lot of questions that will be revolving around that, and Lorna will be telling us about that here in just a minute. Cheryl Winterton is joining us presently, but she's with the Venturing Officers Association. And Paul Jensen is here to answer a few questions about the 2023 World Jamboree. So with no further ado, Lorna, would you like to tell us a little bit more about Scouting for Food this year?
I'd be delighted to. We're excited as all the details come into place for Scouting for Food Drive on February 6th. Every district Scouting for Food Chair should have information and things that they're working on. And we know almost all the units have been assigned, but all units should have received something and have information there that they're working on. I'm going to briefly go over the logistics and then would, as Brett said, would be more than glad to entertain questions that we have. There's multiple partners for the food drive, and the logistics are different for each of them. I'll take the logistics by partner group. For the food pantries, I am contacting all the food pantries that are participating, and they will be hosting. They're on the list that have gone out, and they will be hosting scouts on their site on the morning of February 6th from 9 to noon. Collecting food, typically like we have in the past for the scout drive. So that's a pretty easy thing. On the Bank of Utah locations, they will be collecting food at their various locations like they have done other collections in the past for food or coats or baby items from January 25th to February 12th. That will be during their normal business hours. And we have assigned a scout unit to each bank location and are asking those scout units to make a contact with the bank location. The food pantry, we're asking to deliver a collection barrel, probably will be what's used for that. And we're asking the scouts through the course of those 3 weeks to take food as their barrels or boxes get full, to take that food over to the food pantry when the food pantry is open. Then Red Hanger will be collecting food, and they will be collecting food in their locations, and we're still working out the details with them, but I think we're going to have them take the food back to the food pantries. So that's the collection piece. The bags, every scout unit, our intent is that every scout unit gets a few bags. Bags have been paid for by the Bank of Utah and will be distributed by Arctic Circle for people who are going through their drive-through order and pick up food. For the 2 weeks before the drive, they'll be distributed by Red Hanger, and they'll be distributed by Bank of Utah to people who are coming through their locations there, and then by scouts. And we're asking each scout unit will get some bags, and we're asking each scout unit to divide them up amongst the members of the troop and ask each of them to deliver some bags to their neighbors and pick them up on the morning of the 6th, and then get them to a drop-off site on that day. We are having a gift card award that Arctic Circle is sponsoring, and that will consist of the scouts in each unit contacting, prior to the end of the day on February 6th, anyone who wants to participate, we're asking to contact their district scout food chair and tell that individual how many pounds of food that unit thinks that we will collect statewide. And Josh has sent something out today with some of the logistics and counts of how many units and how many locations and everything. So they will send that in, and we will give a gift card to each location, each district to the unit that gets closest on that guessing game. And as I say that, I'm reminding myself that I forgot one more drop-off site. The Smith's grocery stores will also be a drop-off site. I'm sorry, I'm kind of living this 24/7 and I forgot that one. So Smith's grocery stores will be drop-off sites. There's 56 Smith stores. They have units assigned to each of those stores. We're asking those units to be present in the lobbies of the Smith stores from 9 to 2. And we're working on getting a little handout for shoppers so the scouts can give a shopper a handout and ask that shopper to buy something at the store to donate to Scouting for Food and then give it to them as they leave. We're asking the pantries to deliver the collection containers, gaylords or barrels or totes to those stores. And then either the scouts in certain areas or the pantries in certain areas or the National Guard will be taking the food from those Smith locations on the afternoon of February 6th to the pantries. And that's all spelled out in the documents who would be doing that. There will be lots of publicity. Our Scout Council was able to secure space on the electronic billboards throughout the state. And a big Scouting for Food Drive message has been put on that. We've got TV and radio coverage coming. We hope to get Governor Cox with him just coming into office. That's a little iffy at this point with everything else going on, but we're in hopes of getting Governor Cox on the morning of January 25th to read a proclamation for Scouts and have a media kickoff for the drive. So those are the main things. I know that was quick. They're written in several things. We greatly appreciate everyone's help. We, quite frankly, what's more important to me on this again is that we create a wonderful opportunity for our scouts to collect food that's sorely needed here in our communities right now, have a positive experience, and that we keep the Scouting for Food drive alive and going, and that people statewide will see that Scouts are alive and well and continuing to do the good things that we've done before. Brett and Josh, did I leave anything out?
To all of our attendees this evening, the council will be providing a patch for all Scouts who will be participating, and you'll note that on your screen. So those patches will be provided to you around the event, and we'll be providing to you information specifically so that we can help you get those in a timely manner. And we'll just need to know how many Scouts and adults participated in each of those collection locations. So look for that.
Thank you,
Josh, I have a question. Josh?
Sure. Yes.
All the things that Lorna was talking about, are we going to get that emailed to us in a handout? Because I'm going to have a lot of people down here in South Utah County with questions. I mean, I was taking notes like crazy, but.
Sure. So one of the great things about this is we've got all of the information already up at utahscouts.org/scouting for food.
Okay.
And that is where the catch-all for the any questions.
Let's see,
regarding-
Josh. So the Lorna's for those of you who don't know how to pronounce it, it's Lorna Kocai, K-O-C-I. Her email is in the chat, so you can pull that up, and I'm sure she'd be more than happy to answer any direct questions you have. Josh, that was showing your desktop for a little bit there. Would you mind screen sharing the patch again? It's a beautiful patch, and it's die cut in that shape, so it's not a round patch. It's a die cut like a donation.
Give me just a second.
And Brett, while Josh is doing that, I would add, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send me an email. I think Brett's made that available, or text or call me. My information is on those things, but for those on the call here, my phone number is my cell, 801-631-3218. And I'd be delighted to visit with you about any questions. We know that some units were not assigned. We knew that might happen out of 400. And if you find you're working with a unit that wasn't assigned, please just call me and we'll get that unit assigned. If you have questions on locations or different things like that, again, don't hesitate to contact me.
Thank you so much, Lorna. Do you have just another couple of minutes to hang out in case there's any questions? Please post them
I
in the
certainly do.
Q&A.
Yes, I do.
So Lorna has to take off here in a little bit to be able to manage all the many things that need to be done. And Paul's the same way. So Paul Jensen's here for a little bit. So if you have any questions regarding World Jambo, post them as quick as you can. Paul, you want to give us a little quick update?
Yeah, thank you for letting me speak, Brett. Just a quick update on the state of international scouting. Those of you who are planning to go to the European Jamboree probably are already aware that it was canceled, unfortunately, because of the coronavirus. The National BSA is processing the refund from the European Scouting Association, and those refunds will be processed in the coming months. So be patient. The National International Department had some serious cuts, so they're working through things as quickly as possible. But on an exciting site, next summer is the World Scout Moot. So this is for the young adult scouts. If you have any, 18-year-old to 26-year-olds, it's a month long in Ireland. Great opportunity to see scouts from all over the world. That registration is open now. And then lastly, it seems like a long way away, but now is the time to plan for South Korea 2023. That registration will be opening up probably in June. And scouts who are interested should be looking to fundraise starting immediately. We're only 2.5 years away. So that's a big, so I just wanted to make sure people are aware of that and hope that we send a large contingent to the World Scout Jamboree in 2023. With that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you, Paul, so much. There's nothing in the Q&A yet. Is there a phone number or an email that I can post to the group for you?
Yeah, I'll post it in the chat.
Thank you so much. What is the cost? Is the first question.
The cost depends on travel and things like that. I've not seen a firm cost. They were estimating for the European Jamboree around $3,300. I imagine it's going to be very similar for South Korea.
And that's the site cost, no travel included.
The European actually did include travel.
Did it? Okay.
So I don't know how expensive it is to travel to South Korea versus Europe's Poland. So I imagine, I would guess around $3,500.
Fantastic. Thank you, Paul. Any other questions for Paul before he needs to take off?
There is one more question in the chat. What was canceled in Europe? What was the name for the event?
So it was the European Scout Jamboree, which had been scheduled for summer 2020 in Poland. They pushed it back from summer 2020 to summer 2021. And then with the pandemic not slowing down about a month or so ago, they called it off completely. And so that's the equivalent of the National Scout Jamboree for the European Scouting Associations. And every year that they hold it, the United States sends a contingent to join in with the countries of Europe.
Good deal. Let's see. Tim asked estimated cost for World. Don't know if you've already covered that. A rough estimate. Is it any different, Paul?
As far as I know, it's going to be about the same.
Okay. Good deal.
$500 would be a guess.
Thank you so much. And then appreciate you joining us tonight, Paul. And Paul's contact information is in the chat, so you can grab that and follow up with any specific details or plans that you or your unit might have. So thank you for being with us, and you're welcome to take off and get on to the rest of life. So thank you.
I'm
Paul.
going to sign off, Brett.
Thank you, Lorna. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Bye now, everyone.
Bye-bye. With that, let's keep on going with the agenda. Pualani, you're up next, and we have some very important information about advancement. And if you could share that with us, and feel free to post your questions in the Q&A as we go, and then we'll hit them at the end. Pualani?
Okay, so I had some questions come to me ahead of time that I'd like to be able to answer for those of you that need to know. Someone asked that after the Eagle Board of Review is held and the application is sent into the Scout office, what happens? Well, when the application comes in, they take some of the information from that Eagle Scout application and put it into their system. If there is an issue or a problem, it won't accept it and we'll know immediately. So it's not like we won't know for a week or two. We'll know exactly what's going on that day and we can take care of it and get it resubmitted. So they wanted to know how long do we get it back from National? Well, it's an immediate thing. It's immediately approved or not approved. And so the other thing is they wanted to know how long they needed to keep applications and reference letters. I'm thinking about a month after that, they should be shredded because if there are any issues, we'll know about it before then. And then when the certificates come into the office, the girls will notify the parents by email and also the Eagle coordinators that the certificate has come back so that we don't lose any boys between the cracks and that we can make sure paperwork doesn't get lost or put aside in between waiting for having the board and waiting for their certificates. So yeah, we do want you to shred everything after 30 days though. Then there was someone that asked, I think the same person asked about awards and advancements. All right, so BSA National is no longer going to be printing the 2021 Scouts BSA requirement book, nor will they print the Guide to Advancement 2021. They just don't have the means to do that. And right now, the Guide to Advancement 2021 is not completed, just sections that we need to know about for extensions that are coming up. The I did this myself so I could tell you it works. You can either go to Google search, go to Advancement and Awards, or you can go through scouting.org, which is what I normally do. Go down to Scouts, BSA, go down to Advancement and Awards. You can look up rank advancements, you can look up merit badges, and you can look up all the merit badge changes. Then as you read down through that section towards the end, there are two sections that have, or just these words. One is Advancement Resources, and the other one is Award Central, and they're in blue, in a blue highlight. The Advancement Resources will show you what all the resources are from National, but the Award Central will be the most recent changes that they have made in advancement. So you can always go to that to find out the newest changes. And then also the new DEI merit badge that everybody's been talking about. Well, we can stop talking about it. In fact, they don't want us to talk about it. They don't want the boys to start on it. They have gotten so much, so many comments from so many people in the scouting program throughout the United States that they are looking it over again. I even was asked about what I thought they should do, and I was surprised that they asked me, but my thoughts were, as I read those requirements, just put those requirements into 4 required merit badges that we already have and be done with it. Don't come up with another one, but I don't know, they're talking to a lot of people. I know they're working on it. I just got an email today that they're still working on that. And then for those of you that do not know, the before we've always, well, we were able to give the COVID extensions through the end of December, and then that was done. So now what National has done, it has given the council advancement committees the authority to take care of time extensions. And I'm sure it's because they don't have the manpower that they had before at National. But we've been doing it for so many years that, you know, we have to make sure they do the exact same thing as we did before. So if he or she sees that they're gonna need an extension, the most we can give as Council Advancement Committee is 6 months. But if they need more than 6 months, then we have to deny them the 6 months and they apply to National, and I can just talk them through how to do that for more than 6 months. And since I've been in scouting for these last 36 years or so, I've only had one that needed more than 6 months, because you can fulfill your responsibility in 6 months. You can be a Life Scout for 6 months. And so that's your big thing for 6 months. There are some guidelines that need to be followed. There are some tests that you need to make sure the boy or girl falls into that category. Just unforeseen circumstances, life-changing events that happen beyond the control of the scout. Those are some of the reasons, but they do have to have documentation. Whereas when we did the COVID extensions, basically they just had to write either Steve or I a letter and tell us why they needed the COVID extension, and we didn't question it. We gave it to them. And so they got the 3 months. In this circumstance, we question it. In fact, there will be at least 4 of us, Steve, my co-chair, and myself, the district advancement chair for whatever district that person's in, and the Eagle coach, that will be discussing and looking into all the circumstances. So if it's something to do like health related, we would need to have a documentation from a doctor. You know, just kind of depending what the circumstance is, they will have to have documentation. We will probably call and interview and talk to some people. Now, what we did in Utah National Parks, Steve and I, is we would interview the scout before we would make the final decision. And, you know, we may do that on some that we're a little wishy-washy about, but we do have that authority now. And I'm hoping, since we just had our meeting yesterday, that the district advancement chairs will get that word out to all the districts, to the units, so that they know it is available. I think those were all the questions. If for some reason they are denied this up to 6 months, then we have to send them a letter, and also tell them how they can reach out to National to apply for an appeal. And there's paperwork that goes with that. And there's also a form. There are the 9.0.4.0 on time extensions, and the 4.1 will tell everything about these extensions. And you can find it on the website. You can find it at scouting.org under the advancement, what's it called now? My mind went blank. Our Guide to Advancement, it's there. We right now have 1 in the works for an extension that we're working on. This person, I believe it was a female, needed only, it was either 4 or 6 more days to make her 6 months. So they're gathering all the information that they need to proceed. It should take less than 4 weeks to run all this get all this information and have the answer, you know, to do give them what time that they need. They do have to tell us how much time they think they need, and they have to tell us how they came up with that amount of time.
Thank you, Poulani. Jeff Davis has a question for you, but before we get to that, Josh, did you have a follow-up to the Diversity Merit Badge?
Yeah, there was a question in regards to the, what was the name of the merit badge? It's diversity, inclusion, and equality. Is that what it's called, Poulani?
Yeah, yes, inclusion, equality and inclusion.
So that's
Oh.
the badge that's been put on hold from the national organization. And
Right.
so if you've heard or read anything about it, yeah, diversity, equity, and inclusion, you just should disregard that until they
Right.
figure out what they're going to do.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. And Poulani, Jeff Davis is wanting to know if there's a summary page where he can find out about all of the rank requirement changes for 2021.
Yeah, just go through that process. I told them to either Google search or scouting.org, and it's just listed there. I read through it.
Okay. So there's one link on national, or do we have it on the council page?
I don't think it's on the council page.
Yeah, it wouldn't be on the council's page. It would be on the national.
National page, yeah.
So scouting.org.
Okay, Jeff's looked, and you know, there's so much information out there, it might be hard to find. So maybe we can add a link to that on the council page going
So
forward.
Jeff, we'll look to get those that sheet up in the next couple days at utahscouts.org, and also on the council's social media links.
Thank you very much, Jeff, Josh, and Poulani. Any other questions regarding advancement or any other comments, Poulani?
No, I think we're good.
Thank you so very much, and we'll circle back if there's any others that come in. In the interim, let's move on. Mr. Perkins, Mike Perkins.
All right, good. It's good talking to you. In January, we began virtual training and certified angling instructor. That was early in the, I think it's could be ongoing through the rest of February. And we also started those who are interested in the Sea Badge. That begins this weekend. That's a virtual course. That's filled. It's out of a council in San Francisco. We also did a basic shotgun instructor this weekend. And on the 23rd, there'll be a shotgun instructor course. And on the 6th of February, this was scheduled long before the scouting for our food. There'll be a range safety officer course down at the Ogden Center. I hope those who are interested in shooting will involve in that. In the middle of February, we're going to have a virtual edge. We'll have more information on the training page in about a week on that. You can register. That'll be free. And we're doing that through the National Council. So that's where we're at on training. We also have come up with a train badge as a recognition for those who seek out and get training. It's a big badge, it looks like there, but it's only 2.5 inches across. And we're not able to show you the segments, but we have segments for, there we go. So you can see that this is for the Cub Scouters. So you got Kayla's Council, Baloo, and Basic Trained, and the CPR, and then across the top you've got Wood Badge. That's for the Cubbers. And I don't know if we got one for the Scouters. Have we got one of those?
No.
Anyway, for Scouters, we're going to have Basic Trained, powder horn, shooting sports, first aid, CPR. I can't remember the other one. Triple S.
We'll have the Triple S that'll replace the Kayla's Council, and then from the Blue, it'll be Outdoor Leader Skills.
Yep. And have paddle horn and first aid, CPR, and Basic Trained. So these won't be very big. They'll be 2.5 inches across. You can wear it on your right pocket easily. And maybe, I don't know, a lot of people used to wear things on their right shoulder or right on their right arm. We'll see. I guess these should be available about 6 weeks, won't they, Josh?
Yep, they will.
That's all I have for training, unless somebody's got questions.
Mike, there's a question on Triple S.
Yeah, scouting skills for Scoutmasters. That course we hope will be ready to go in July or August. We're working on that one, and that will be like going on Thursday afternoon, Friday, and until about Saturday afternoon. It'll be about a 48-hour course. That will give scoutmasters and assistant scoutmasters that'll be involved in scouting all those skills they need to know to organize a patrol leaders council, run campouts, run meetings, train their scouts to run these run scouting for themselves. That's what it's all about. Those skills used to be done by Wood Badge, the old Wood Badge, 30 years ago. But now the Wood Badge is focused on leadership, and so it doesn't get into those individual skills that we used to have to run scout troops.
Fantastic.
So, Mike, there's another question about offering the possibility of offering a wilderness first aid course in our Wyoming section of the council.
Well, it takes some
spring.
people, we're willing to come out there, so what we need to do is have 5 or 6 people who are willing to take that course and to contact me and for Cheryl Price, and we'll see if we can't schedule it. We have a course scheduled. I don't have the dates in front of me right now, but we do have a course scheduled, I think, for later in April or May, somewhere on there. We're going to run at Tracy and at I think, if I'm not mistaken, I thought the Logan office, but I can't remember which offices we're running at, but we're going to run at 2 different sites. If the people in Wyoming, we want to take things to southern Utah, eastern Utah, and to Wyoming, but we have to have people to attend the course. We can't just do it for a couple of people. We need 5 or 6 people who commit themselves to this.
Mike, your email address is mike_perkins@comcast.net.
All right, Tiz.
Okay, I'll send that out in the chat feature. So if there are further inquiries about that wilderness first aid course in Wyoming or any other area of the council, reach out to Mike. As he said, as long as we can get some people, we could probably make it happen.
Good deal. Mike, anything else for us?
Well, I think that's enough for one night, don't you think?
You're fantastic. Thank you so much, Mike. Cheryl Winterton has joined us tonight. She's with the Venturing Officers Association and has some announcements for us. And so don't forget to queue up your questions in the Q&A. Go ahead, Cheryl.
Hi, everybody. I am looking for a group of venturers or older scouts that would like to come to Camp Tracy and play with us in the snow for the first weekend in February. We have several events that we have gotten planned. Right now, we're waiting for the youth, obviously, to get together to give us the exact schedule. But among the things that we have planned is we are going to do some snowshoeing. We are also going to have some cross-country skiing available, and as well as some shooting sports available. So again, this is for venturers, older scouts, also for our explorers. We'd love to have all of them come. You will be spending the weekend at Camp Tracy, and it will be lots of fun. We'll be staying in the tents. We're asking each group to bring their own food and way to cook it. We're also asking, because this is the Scouting for Food weekend, that each youth is invited to bring some food to donate to the food pantry, and we'll collect that and make sure it gets to where it needs to go. Also, at the end of the month, and we're working on this, one of the crews in Utah County is putting together a biathlon based upon some of the things that we have learned. We will learn or practice during our first Best in Snow. That will be the last weekend in February, and I'm hoping to put some information out about that in the next few days. There again, it is based upon one of the crews doing it. So there again, we're waiting for the youth to get some things together on it. Also, we are looking at putting together a 3-day, 4-day weekend at Camp Mapledale in June. That'll be the 3rd weekend in June. There again, we're waiting for some details on that. All of the costs, by the way, let me go back a little bit. The costs on both of the February events will be $15, mostly to pay for ammunition. This event coming up in June, we don't have an exact cost on. We are waiting for some people to get back with us, some vendors to get back with us on how much they're going to charge to run boats and a few other things for us. Other than that, it will be for older scouts and it will be at Camp Mapledale. I don't have any other details on that, but we'll have that coming out very soon. Lastly, in September, I believe it's the 27th of September. Another event we're looking at holding will be for anybody venturing age who's interested in finding out what venturing is about. It will be at the Scout office in Ogden. I believe it's September 27th. All of these things, all the information will be available on the council website as soon as we can get it there. But Best in Snow is already there if you'd like to register for that. Again, these are all events, all for venturing aged youth. I think a lot of times we forget that some of our older scouts may get a little tired of the younger ones and having to participate with things with the younger ones. So we'd love to have those older scouts come join us and give them an opportunity to lead older scouts or just come and hang out with us and have a great time. Sometimes we get tired of the 15, 16-year-olds get a little tired of working with the 11-year-olds. So have them come join us and we promise we'll do our best to keep them active in scouting, which is our ultimate goal. Is there any questions?
I don't see any questions just yet, but Cheryl, thank you so much for all the great work and for keeping these older kids engaged and interested in scouting and moving on to a whole nother set of advancement. And I know my daughters appreciate it. Let's see, one question did come in. Would it work if we have 5 boys and 3 adults and why? Oh, that's excuse me, that's on first aid. So we'll follow up on that, Mike. That's a first aid question. Cheryl, your contact info.
I will put that in the chat.
Okay. Thank you for that. And I hope to be able to get up there and visit you guys a little bit and send a few ventures your way as well. So
That would be awesome.
let's see, any other questions for Cheryl? Why don't we wait a second? We'll follow up with the one question. I'm just going down my list here. Yeah, let's go ahead and come back to that right now. So, Mike, the question is, would it work if there's 5 boys and 3 adults in Wyoming for a wilderness first aid? Is that enough to pull off a course?
It is, and we'll have to schedule it. We'll discuss it with that person, but that's enough.
We're a far-reaching council, Mike. Does it work for some of the other areas that might be a stretch to get to?
It does. We've got limited number of first aid instructors. I'm one of the 2 first aid instructors that gets out and does things. So there's only but 2 or 3 of us that can really get out and do these things. So we'll have to see how things work out.
Sounds good. And I'm sure that if some good scouters that are out quite a ways would help with some friendly accommodations, that might be nice too, to reduce the expenses. So instead of having to travel and then stay in a hotel. Yeah, Cheryl, thank you for posting that information in the chat. So look there for her contact information and reach out regarding venturing activities. Let's see, I'm about out. Are there any before I wrap up? Are there any other last minute thoughts?
If I could just mention real quick, we get a lot of questions regarding managing scout venturing cub activities in this whirlwind of COVID that we are continuing to bear down upon. Hopefully we can start to see some light at the end of the tunnel in regards to vaccines and maybe the world opening back up a little bit into some ways that we're more familiar with in the past. But the council's official policy continues to be that we encourage units in the council to follow their local health department regulations and guidelines. We realize those guidelines are different in Idaho than they are in Wyoming, than they are in Utah, and that even some local health department guidelines are different. And so we encourage each unit of the council to be proactive in working with your unit committee and with the parents that are engaged with your unit to find ways to make scouting work. For example, maybe you have a large Cub Scout pack of 30 or 40 kids. Well, with parents and family members, that probably wouldn't be a reality to get all those folks together for a pack meeting, but certainly for a den meeting, In the world of creativity, the Cub Master could travel around and present some awards at a den meeting instead of at a PAC meeting. The same could be the case for a Scouts BSA troop. Maybe you're not able to meet as a full troop, but certainly maybe with proper adult coordination and two deep leadership, you could certainly meet as a patrol, for example. We know a lot of you are doing things over Zoom. We also know that a lot, especially our teenage youth, are tired of Zoom. And again, we would just encourage you to be vigilant and continue to be creative, and know that there are ways to work around this. I think as we all have navigated the world of masks and social distancing, physical distancing, whatever we want to call it, we all know where those comfort levels are at, perhaps with particularly those folks that we work with in our units. And we can find a happy medium. We would ask, though, that you follow the guidelines that come from our local health departments. Scouts follow the Scout law, and it is important that we seek to set a good example as we seek to be good citizens. So if we can do anything to support you as a program committee, we will do our very best to support and help to troubleshoot any of those COVID-related issues that come for you and your units. So please feel free to reach out to any of us, and we'll do our very best to address any issues that arise.
Brett, you're muted.
Darn mute. I got it. Thank you, Poulani. I wanted to mention, thank you, Josh. I wanted to mention a couple of things real quick that my own unit has done that maybe you might find handy for virtual meetings. There's an online bingo source. I don't have it off the top of my mind, but we did a bingo game, and you can do it virtually. You can also print out the cards and have scouts come by and get them and distance as necessary, but it can be conducted just virtually. It's a very modest cost. I think it was $10 for a year if you were going to print out more than 100 cards. You go in and you can put in all your own scouting words. You can create your own bingo game, and it was very well received. We bought some inexpensive items from the Scout store and used those for prizes, and the kids had a great time. So much so that they've asked if we can do it again. We just started tonight a stock market game using Market Watch, where all the heavy lifting's done for you, and we're using that for personal management and a little bit of financial literacy. So that's something that can be done and engage, and they see each other's results. It's a competition sort of a thing. So everybody's visible, and they see how they're doing comparatively, and we'll have some inexpensive prizes for that as well. Don't forget the scouting for food. Lorna's done a phenomenal job on that, and her entire team. This is the one thing, if I might say, in Utah that's big, that's going to have a lot of publicity. It's a wonderful opportunity for recruiting. It's a phenomenal opportunity to get your scouts out and have them represent in the community and just have fun together. I hope you enjoy your Klondikes. I will be at Tracy this weekend. If you see me, please come up and say hello. If you have any ideas, feel free to pass them on. Don't forget to register for summer camp. And the time to do so is closing in on us fast, and those facilities are going to fill up. So get that taken care of. Mark your calendars, please, for October, where we will be having a council-wide STEM event. And keep an eye out for more information on that. It'll be a large STEM type of camporee, multi-day, and hopefully for those of you who are more distant in the council, it'll be worth your while to travel to it. As Josh mentioned, the replay of this meeting will be available on the council YouTube page tomorrow. Our next meeting will be Wednesday, February 17th. Thank you all for being here, and safe scouting. Take care.